What's good, y'all? YouTube is Flash Speaks back for another video. And here, I'm be doing what I do. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, my brother, Courtside Junkie, he put together a video here entitled Caitlin Clark Hate Explained and Destroyed in One Video. Okay? Shout out to Courtside Junkie. If you're not subscribed to him, I recommend you subscribe to him. But what he has is Caitlin Clark Hate explained and destroyed in one video. And since I feel as though, since he's come to my channel a number of times, which I appreciate, and I've actually been on his panel before. And I actually went there during the game against the Fever against the New York Liberty game, where pretty much all the advantage was on their side. Like Caitlin Clark had the best game probably of her career that day. And I was there, 10 toes down, handling business. All right? As I do, because that's what I do. So anyway, he comes with this video. I guess he felt like guys like myself and others, are out here hating on Caitlin Clark. So he feels the need to defend her, which is honorable, not a problem at all for me. But he says some things that I disagree with, that I think are nonsensical, contradictory, as well as inaccurate. So I decided, we're going to go ahead and address those. We're going to let his video play, and then, we're going to comment as necessary, okay? So there we go.
In this video right here, bruh, we're going to be debunking all the hate, all the slander, all the false narratives about Caitlin Clark. And we're going to do all that in one video. And nothing I say in this video is going to be my opinion. It's going to be all facts. Because I see what's going on around here. I see the narrative that's trying to be pushed from the media, from other YouTubers, and the shit don't make no sense, bruh. So we're going to keep it all the way facts over here, man. Facts. And we're going to debunk every last one of them, man. No.
Now, he claims it's going to be facts and no opinion. All right? So let's see if we hold the brother to that.
One, Caitlin Clark is just a logo 3. If Caitlin Clark logo 3 ain't on, she might as well go to the bench. Seriously, man. Seriously. Who in their right mind believe that? You can't believe that and watch the game, because we all know, do assists not matter no more? Because we all know she led the league in assists last year. She even had a couple triple-doubles last year. I think she led the league in assists this year, her and Alyssa Thomas. And she missed games this season. Come on, bruh. Y'all gonna have to start keeping it real. Matter of fact, check this graph out right here. Now, y'all see this graph right here. Is all these records right here, logo 3s, these 30-point games, 10-point rebound games, 10-point assist game, is all these logo 3s? Is they? Come on, bruh. Y'all.
All right. So, his first claim is that those who hate on Caitlin Clark say that she's nothing but a logo 3. Now, we're going to hold this thought for a moment and later prove, based on his words, that that's what he also believes. Now, he claims that, she does assist, and that is proof that she's just not a logo 3. This is what he claims. And I would say, yeah, I agree with that. Sure. She does other things. She does do assisting. And what I would say is that the logo 3, I more so believe that's the reason. Y'all think she's special. Okay? Not that the logo 3 is all she does. No, it's the logo 3 that has y'all watching. That's what I've always said, right? It's my claim. And the assists, I think she gets credit that she's a good facilitator. I don't know anyone who's ever said she's not a good facilitator or that passing isn't her best attribute. However, it comes with the caveat that she tends to turn the ball over too much. Now, it's okay to turn the ball over in general. Every player turns the ball over, right? But Caitlin Clark, by far and away, turns the ball over worse than any player in the history of basketball, recorded basketball. That's men and women. Okay? Like when we talk about someone who's a bad turnover prone individual, say in the NBA, it's typically maybe players who might average 3.5 turnovers. That's considered really bad. 4 is considered woo. Caitlin Clark is almost at 6 turnovers a game. Okay? It's over 5 a game. And there is no one in the history of the NBA who's ever averaged 4, or in the WNBA. That's the issue, right? It's not that she turns it over. She turns it over at an alarming clip and at a dangerous clip that will make it difficult to produce a champion. That's the issue. And then the other thing he mentions is so-called records, right? And I'm glad he listed them here, because let's look at these things here. You know, it's like fastest player to record 150 points, 50 rebounds, and 50 assists, right? In 10 games, like the fastest player to do it, okay? Fastest player to record 200 points and 50 assists in 2 games, right? Fastest player, right? First rookie to record 350 points, 100 rebounds, 150 assists, right? And stuff like that. These are things that they're considering records, okay? And for me, these things don't really mean much to me. Or put it this way, I'm not going to say that. What I'll say is this. The only way I could judge this versus, like, say, other players is for other players to receive the amount of freedom that this player receives. Like, in other words, like, I have to understand the fact that most rookies who come into the WNBA were faced with a culture that did not allow rookies to start, despite how good they were, despite how good they are. You see that happening now. This happened with Regia Jackson last year. This happened with like players like Kelsey Plum when they were rookies. Happened with players like Jackie Young. Happened with players like many players, right? I could go on just mentioning them, why they didn't have rookie years like this. As many of them were not afforded the opportunity. Now, does that mean Caitlin Clark wouldn't be a better rookie than them? I don't know. It just makes it more of a question mark for me. And I add to this also Angel Reese, because Angel Reese has a number of these types of records, especially in the area of like rebounding and double-doubles, right? So I don't go around, you never hear me on this channel saying, oh man, Angel Reese got the most double-doubles, most rated. Why? These things just aren't my metric. Simply because, like, I have to factor in the fact that not too many other players were afforded the ability to start right away, the amount of minutes right away, the usage rate right away, right? That's why it's never been my metric. But anyway, let's continue. But those things are to Caitlin Clark's credit, not a problem. But let's continue.
We're going to have to learn to keep it real. Caitlin Clark, a logo 3, is just not true. She just had 2 bad shootings outing a couple nights ago, right? We all can agree on that. She did not shoot good. Those are facts. But at the same time, she still made a contribution to try to help her team win. Matter of fact, even in those bad shooting nights, we was up in both of those games with her shooting bad from the 3-point line. But she did have a lot of assists. So we can go ahead and take that and just throw that shit down the road, bro.
All right, they lost both of those games, right? So whatever it was she was doing, it wasn't enough, okay? The problem with Caitlin Clark, and I will go into this a little bit later, is the shot selection, right? Is the logo 3, is it a smart shot? Is most of her 3 smart shots? I think that's more like the criticism. Not so much that, the idea, Caitlin Clark just a logo 3. I think that's more hyperbole from people, more than, it's similar to like when you say Angel Reese can't make a layup, right? There's no way that can really be true. That's a lie, right? But it's hyperbole in speech. Meaning you're just exaggerating to drive home a point that she needs to improve in an area. Okay, that's really what that means.
Because that shit is not true. Number 2, Caitlin Clark is overrated. Overrated to who? Overrated how? No, the problem is, man, maybe some of these all-time greats is overrated.
All right, let me slow down here. Okay. Caitlin Clark is overrated in the opinion of people like myself because ESPN has ranked her the 4th best player in the WNBA after A'ja Wilson, Nafisa Collier, and I believe the third one was A'ja Wilson, Nafisa Collier, and who else? Wow. Why am I drawing a blank right now? A'ja Wilson was number 1. Nafisa Collier was number 2. Number 3, was it Nneka Ogwumike? No. was it, Breonna Stewart, I'm sorry. And Breonna Stewart. What they're saying is that she's the fourth. What we're saying is we disagree with that. That's rating her way too high. So what we're saying is, to answer your question, that she's overrated by the media, such as ESPN. Now, as far as guys like yourself, and other Caitlin Clark fans, I've heard them out of their mouth say this is the greatest women's basketball player of all time. So that means you're saying she's better than Cheryl Miller. You're saying she's better than Cheryl Swoops. You're saying she's better than Angel Wilson, all about is playing right now. Better than Tina Thompson. Better than friggin' Tamika Catchings. She's better than Maya Moore. So on and so forth. I can go on. That's what that means when you're saying that. Cynthia Cooper. That's what that means. Okay? That's why we say she's overrated. Okay? Just hope that's clear. Now, what you're about to say, you're about to stick your foot in your mouth, so I'm going to back that up just a little bit.
Those are facts. But at the same time, she still made a contribution to try to help her team win. Matter of fact, even in those bad shooting nights, we was up in both of those games with her shooting bad from the three-point line. But she did have a lot of assists. So we can go ahead and take that and just throw that shit down the road, bro, because that shit is not true. Number two, Caitlin Clark is overrated. Overrated to who? Overrated how? No, the problem is, man, maybe some of these all-time greats is overrated. And I'm not taking no shit on them because I believe they're all-time greats. But me, I just start watching the WNBA. So I only can go off of what I see because I didn't see it live or in person and at the time of that game. But if I go back...
All right. So right then, my brother, you should be humble. And you should say, I don't know. You should not come out your mouth ahead of time saying that maybe they're overrated, and then turn around and say I didn't see them, and I can go based off of what I saw. Okay? But to be honest with you, if you're watching the WNBA right now, there is no way in the world you're going to tell me that you think Caitlin Clark is the best player that you've seen out there. And you've seen Angel Wilson. And what was crazy is when I was on your podcast, watching the chat, what you said to me was, all right, Angel Wilson is better than her. I'll give you that. I'm like, you'll give me that? What do you mean you'll give me that? Like, bro, that's obvious that Angel Wilson is better. Like, what are we doing? Like, just even your whole language and the whole way you go about it and the way you explain it is proof that Caitlin Clark is overrated. Well, like, what do you mean I gave you that? Like, it's not even nothing that takes a lot of thought that Angel Wilson is better. There's like a consensus on that.
And look at some of the stats and compare them to some of the greats. I don't see how she can be overrated. Now check this graph.
If you talking about look at the stats, whose stats have you looked at where you don't see how she could be overrated? You looking at what? What are you looking at? Candace Parker, for example? Let's take Candace Parker, for example. I hope what you're not doing is looking at Candace Parker's stats and saying, okay, Candace Parker averaged 18.5 a game. And then you're looking at Caitlin Clark and saying, okay, it was 19.2. And you think that makes Caitlin Clark a better scorer than Candace Parker. I hope you're not that simplistic. I hope you're not overlooking field goal percentage and overlooking the fact that Candace Parker was over 50% scoring and Caitlin Clark was barely 40%, right? I hope you're not doing that. I hope you're not ignoring the defensive side of the ball. These are the things I really think you're doing, okay? And what I hope you're not doing is, looking at Kelsey Plum's, like, rookie year and looking at just the number that it might have been 10 points a game, and not looking at, like, the fact that she didn't play nowhere as many minutes as Caitlin Clark. I hope you're not doing that because you just mentioned all-time greats. I don't know what all-time greats you looked up, but you say that you wanted to actually possibly debate this. I'm trying to tell you, if you debate me, okay, on your channel, you better be prepared with all of that. I need to know the names of the greats you're talking about, and you better bring me some numbers. And you better look at those numbers thoroughly, because I will pick that crap. I'm telling you, I promise you, that I will pick that right apart. I will pick that shit apart. All right? So I'm just warning you on that one, if that's the debate you want to have. Because last time when I talked to you, we were discussing Paige versus Caitlin Clark. You had the nerve to tell me that just because Paige is more efficient doesn't mean she's a better scorer. And I'm still waiting for you to bring that logic for me. Because then you try to use Michael Jordan as an example. There's players that are more, efficient than Michael Jordan. Like, what do you mean? Michael Jordan's 50%, and you got to compare guards to him. Don't compare somebody like Shaq who scores in the paint, right? So you better be prepared with all those arguments, bro.
File right here. Y'all see this graph right here, right? Now, this is one of the GOATs. And in no way, shape, or form am I saying Caitlin Clark is better right now than Diana Taurasi was in her prime. But look at it from my standpoint. It took this girl 60-something games to do what this woman did in 45 games. So how can she be overrated? I don't understand.
Well, what you're talking about is this is the stat that they got here on the thing. It said 50 points scored / assisted on, right? So it's not talking about this is this ridiculous new stat that they come up with. That what they're doing is they're taking the points that a player scores, and then they're also adding the assists that they give, and they're adding the assists as 2 points added on, right? So they're saying Caitlin has all these 50-point games because basically all she has to do is basically score, say, 25 points in a game, and then provide about 10 assists, right? To 45 or 12 assists, something like that, right? So in order to get to 50. So what they're saying is it took Diana Taurasi 565 games to get to that, right? Now, this is my retort to that there. What is the goal of Diana Taurasi when she's out there? Is the goal to win, or is the goal to all right, let's see if I can get to these 50 points through assists and points? What is the goal, right? Basketball is a team sport, and you playing and you're working within the framework of the team. Number two, what type of system were they running with Diana Taurasi? Was it a fast era? Was it a defensive era? How many minutes did she play per game? We know Caitlin Clark was playing damn near 40 minutes, right? All of these things matter. And what I'm saying is you need to bring that stuff too, right? Because I don't get into all of that stuff, man. When I judge a player, I look at skill set. Because all of that other stuff, really, a lot of times the player ain't got no control over. Skill set is how you judge a player, right? How are they from beyond the arc? How are they in the mid-range area? How are they in the post? How are they driving to the hoop? How are they as far as layup package? Those are the things I look at, And I will always argue that's the only way you can judge a basketball player. All this other stuff, man, is dependent on too many other things.
Just like that graph I just showed you guys a few minutes ago. That graph ain't just for Caitlin Clark. A lot of those records were some of the all-time great records that she broke in 1 year, her rookie season. So how can she be overrated? You guys don't like the pub you get, and overrated is what you like to use to try to knock her down. But overrated, hell no, man. So
his argument is, all right, the first player to score this, to score that, is the proof that she's not overrated. So what you're saying is just because of that stuff, she should be the 4th best player in the league. This is where we're going to disagree. But let's continue.
Don't go ahead and debunk that shit and get that the hell up out of here too. Number 3, Angel Reese is better than Caitlin Clark. Now, a lot of us know this is just bullshit. Flat out. And this ain't even taking no dig at Angel Reese. But I was listening to a podcast yesterday that flat out said Angel Reese is better, has a better skill set, and is better than Caitlin Clark. Who in the whole United States of America believe that shit? I don't even know if I should spend time on it, even talking about it, bro. And this is not my opinion. There's no GM in the whole WNBA that'll take Angel Reese over Caitlin Clark. None of them. It might be some of these Angel Reese fans that'll do that, and that's not based off skill set. That's based off their opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you what's not opinion, okay? Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark play 2 completely different positions. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark provide 2 totally different things for their teams. That's not opinion, that's fact. What also is fact is Angel Reese is a far superior defensive player than Caitlin Clark, okay? And impacts the game on that end way better. And it's also a fact that Caitlin Clark is a better shooter than Angel Reese, right? If you want to say better offensive player, and without, considering rebounds to have anything to do with that or setting screens or anything like that, then that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. She's a better shooter. She's a better scorer. Let's put it that way. All right, Caitlin, better scorer. Angel better defensive player. Those are the facts.
Flat out, bruh. That is not factual. We all just seen a professional basketball player in the gym working on layups. So how can you be better than Caitlin Clark if you still gotta work on layups, which is something you should have learned at the YMCA and youth school, like long time ago, bruh.
All right, if you know anything about like basketball and players, they always work on fundamentals. There's no shame in working on fundamentals. That doesn't mean she can't do a layup. Like, that's just stupid. It's a stupid lie that they put out there. But working on fundamentals is what they all do. That's like saying you shouldn't be working on like shooting from the foul line. Players work on their free throws every single day, which is something you should know from what AAU, how to make a free throw.
Come on, man. Angel Reese is not better than Caitlin Clark. Now, does she rebound better than Caitlin Clark? I would agree. Is she more physical than Caitlin Clark? I would even agree with that. Hell, I think she even played better defense than Caitlin Clark. But an all-around better player than Caitlin Clark, it's just flat out bullshit, bro. So we gonna.
Well, what does all around mean? Like, if you're saying Angel Reese is better at defense and better at rebounding, Caitlin Clark is better at offense, then what does all around mean? That's my question. What does all around mean? The reality is you value the offensive end more than the defensive end. That's all. You know, that's cool.
Go ahead and debunk that narrative too, because that narrative right there is some straight bullshit. How can Caitlin Clark be good if she haven't won anything? Come on, bro. It's a lot of great players that came through the WNBA and NBA that was very talented, very good, and didn't win a ring, bro. Winning a ring don't make you better than another player. We all seen Robert Horry win 6-7 championships, and nobody would tell you he's better than Charles Barkley, who didn't win none. Come on, bruh. Rings are very good, bruh. But what a ring does is stamps your legacy. When you go into the Hall of Fame or you get put in a category with some of these all-time greats, bruh. Rings, you should try to get rings, bruh. But that don't stamp you to be the player you are. And then a lot of people talk about the rings that some of these other players got in college. Caitlin Clark went to Iowa, man. Iowa. And she took her team as far as she took them. Come on, bruh. Y'all have to keep it real, man.
All right, now when it comes to the ring argument, even though I always think it's ridiculous when people bring up Robert Horry, because nobody who ever makes the ring argument puts Robert Horry in the conversation. So I always think that's ridiculous. But his overall point, yeah, I get. Yeah, you can have that. Doesn't it's not the end all of the answer. However, when you talk about GOATs, it does matter, right? You want to tell me that someone is better than Cheryl Miller, who has 2 or 3 rings in college? You want to tell me that they're better than Brianna Stewart, who has 2 or 3? You got to make your case. And if your case is, well, in your opinion, she took this team that wasn't that good all the way there to the end, then why couldn't she win in the final game then? Right? Because this is what you'll do. You'll tell me that, okay, UConn is stacked. This is what you'll tell me. You'll tell me UConn is stacked, right? Didn't Iowa beat UConn? Okay, so why couldn't they beat LSU if they beat UConn? If UConn is stacked. Didn't they beat LSU the next year? Then why couldn't they beat South Carolina? Right? What's the logic? Obviously, Iowa was good enough, right? Because they beat some of those teams that you're saying are stacked. So which one is it? Okay? Could it be that Caitlin just doesn't really put forth necessarily her best in the finals? Because, I mean, all of those teams, like once you get to the Final Four, pretty much all of those teams are teams that can win it, technically. So what's the deal? She beat South Carolina one year, right? Then why she couldn't beat LSU? Something's not computing here. Okay? So I don't want to hear that it was Iowa shit. Because Iowa did beat South Carolina once, right? With ref help, but whatever. They beat South Carolina before. They beat LSU before. They beat UConn before. So I don't want to hear that these teams are stacked and hers isn't. Right? Those players can't be that fucking bad if they're doing all of that. And I don't want to hear it's just all Caitlin Clark doing it. Right? Because Caitlin Clark might score 30 points in the game, but the whole The whole game is 90 points, right? Or 80 points. Somebody got to be scoring those other points. Somebody got to be rebounding. Somebody got to be defending. It's not all Caitlin Clark. Take that idea that somebody carries the team to somebody else. That shit don't work with me.
I'm making excuses for Caitlin Clark not having a ring? No. She need to go out here and chase a ring. I get that. But let's not try to take away from her greatness because she don't have a ring. Because we've seen multiple people that was good in the NBA and WNBA that did not have a ring. Allen Iverson don't got a ring. Am I going to tell somebody he wasn't good? And I'm not.
No, nobody's saying Allen Iverson's not good. But also nobody's saying Allen Iverson is the greatest of all time. And part of that is because he doesn't have a ring. People like myself might personally believe he's a better player than Steph Curry. But I'm not going to realistically just argue a Golden State fan down with that. Why Steph has 4 rings. I end up looking stupid, right? Whereas if Iverson had a ring, I could argue better. Right? That's how that works.
Comparing Caitlin Clark to Allen Iverson, I'm just using the example. He don't got no ring. He don't. And it's a lot of point guards in the NBA that got rings, and won't none of them say they better than Allen Iverson. Come on, bruh. Stop it, man. Stop it. Do Caitlin Clark need to try to get a ring? Yes. But do a ring take away from her greatness? No, it does not. Because
it takes away from your argument that she's the best and that she's the greatest. It does do that.
Guarantee you, and this might be my opinion, I guarantee you, if Caitlin Clark would have went to UConn on some of them stacked ass teams, bruh, she'll have a ring to this day, just like some of these other people.
Why? She beat UConn, right? She beat them. She beat South Carolina. She beat LSU at different points. She just always lost in the finals.
Let's keep it all the way.
Like if you could beat South Carolina in the semis one year, why can't you beat them in the finals the next year? If you could beat LSU in the semis one year, why couldn't you beat them in the finals the year before? I'm not trying to hear it.
100. That do not make you good or great. That just solidifies your legacy when it comes to the end of your career. So let's just cut the bullshit.
Wherever the road takes you, Chevy is ready to drive you forward. With pure power
man. Kelsey Mitchell should be
like, you can't give Caitlin Clark credit for beating those teams on one hand and then make an excuse when she loses. You cannot do that shit. That's all I'm saying. You just can't do it. You know.
Batman on the Indiana Fever. Kelsey Mitchell should be the number 1 option. Kelsey Mitchell is a better ball player than Caitlin Clark. Now let's keep this real, bro. I'm not gonna take no dig at Kelsey Mitchell because she do play for the Indiana Fever team, and I want them to be successful. But let's just keep it all the way real right here for a second. Kelsey Mitchell was on this team before Caitlin got here. Kelsey Mitchell didn't even make the playoffs at all. The moment Caitlin Clark come, they go right to the playoffs her rookie year.
All right, so he brought up 2 things here when it comes to Kelsey Mitchell. The first claim is that Kelsey Mitchell should be the Batman on the team or should be the first option. I'll say this. If Caitlin Clark is going to play the point guard, then yes, Kelsey Mitchell should be either the first or the second option, whereas Caitlin should be the third option. If you're going to play the point guard and you're going to be the first option to score, that's problematic. I believe the first option, personally, on the Indiana Fever should be Aaliyah Boston. And then the second option should be Kelsey Mitchell. And then Caitlin come in and just get points and score when needed. Okay? Why? Because she's playing the point guard. If she was playing real point guard, that's what she should do. But no, she wants to be like this scoring point guard, first option thing, which makes basketball a little bit more difficult, right? It makes things a little bit more confusing. It's one of the problems that the Fever have, right? So, but does that necessarily mean that Kelsey Mitchell is better than Caitlin Clark? No, it doesn't mean she's better than Caitlin Clark. What it means is Caitlin Clark is playing the point guard, and that Kelsey Mitchell also is the best put the ball on the floor, get your own bucket scorer, okay? And I'm not the only one that says that. There's many people who say that. Actually, if you listen to the game, some other commentators will say that she's the best like one-on-one scorer. And I think she is out of them. You know, Caitlin is the better playmaker. You know, I don't say she's, you know, better than Kelsey Mitchell necessarily. I don't say Kelsey Mitchell's better than her necessarily, but there's no shame in someone else being the first option. That's what I think y'all get a little twisted about, right? That's what I think people mean. And then when you need a bucket, there's no fault in going to Kelsey Mitchell to get a bucket. It doesn't have to always be Caitlin Clark. That's why it's called a team. Okay? And then the second thing is, they always bring this up that
let's keep it all the way 100. Kelsey had Kelsey and she had Boston. Boston came in the year before Clark, right? So it was Kelsey and Boston on the Indiana Fever team. And I believe that year they won 13 games. Don't quote me on that. But what I do know is they didn't make the playoffs. Come on, bro.
All right, so why do you think this is a good point, bro? And this is what I said before. Kelsey Mitchell and Leah Boston Wright together didn't get the Fever to the playoffs. But that's like saying Caitlin Clark and Boston without Kelsey Mitchell didn't get them to the playoffs. And Caitlin Clark with Kelsey Mitchell without Boston to get to the playoffs. All three of them collectively got there. So you're not proving anything. That means nothing, right? So when Caitlin came, she got to play with both of them. She never played with just one of them individually without the other one. And I know you don't think that this team makes the playoffs with any of those three not there last year, right? After the break, they were playing really well. But, right, everybody talk about this tear Caitlin Clark was on. But Kelsey Mitchell was on a historic tear where she was scoring 28 point after 20 point after 20 point after 20 point game. That went along with what Caitlin was doing. So you take away that Kelsey Mitchell last year, y'all don't make the playoffs, bro. So, like, you're not proving anything with that at all.
So how should she be Batman? I don't understand. Caitlin Clark is the reason that team went to the playoffs. Because if
That's false.
Caitlin Clark was not on that team, they wouldn't even make the playoffs that season. So they just...
And it wouldn't if Kelsey Mitchell was on the team. You're not proving anything.
Cut that shit out. Caitlin Clark is a star of this team. Caitlin Clark is the number one option, and the offense should be ran through her. Is Kelsey Mitchell an elite talent? I believe she is. But in no way, shape, or form is she a better talent than Caitlin Clark. All around, that is. So they just...
I think I already explained, like, the way the point guard's role, but, whatever.
Go ahead and debunk that narrative. The WNBA will be fine if Caitlin Clark leaves. Let's talk about it. They will be fine. I think they'll stay afloat because the dumbass NBA keep putting financial support in their ass. So if you're talking about would they still be here, would they still exist, I would agree with you. But fine, as far as from an investment, a business standpoint, they won't. And we all know that to be true because when Caitlin Clark was hurt, we all seen the revenue go down. Hell, some of the stadiums were selling tickets for $3, man. So if you consider that fine, I would agree with you. But we all...
So here we go, typical Clarky stuff. Want to talk about how many people want to come see Caitlin Clark and that how terrible the league is and everything. I wonder why these dudes even watch. They watch to see one girl play the game. It's really sad. That's really sad. You just watch to see this one girl play. And these are the reasons why people come at Clark fans, because this is their attitude. At the end of it all, this is their attitude. Man, this league ain't shit. I ain't watched this league. I ain't do nothing with this league. You know what I'm saying? The Caitlin Clark came, so hey, the league ain't gonna be all right without her. That's your attitude, and that's why the other fan bases don't fuck with y'all. Period. And this is why y'all gonna get cooked every other day, and this is why you're gonna have to make these videos, because I'm gonna keep cooking you. I hate that attitude that y'all got. I hate it.
I know they're not going nowhere. Why would Caitlin Clark leaving stop them from existing? They've been around 30-some years, ain't made no money, bruh. And they still here. That's because the NBA...
And they still ain't making no money.
Study for financial support they ask. We all know that to be true. So y'all that be in my comment section telling me the WNBA will be fine when she leave, I would agree with you. You know what I'm saying? There still exists. But fine, come on, bro. We all seen what happened when this girl got hurt. And that was only a couple weeks. So just imagine if she left, like, permanently. Stop it, man.
Yeah, and all y'all that stopped watching, y'all pathetic. And not real basketball fans. Y'all pathetic.
Stop the cap. Straight bullshit, man. Caitlin Clark can't go left. This is the thing I hear all the time, bro. I hear this so much, it's almost like irritating. You know what I'm saying? Is there players in the league that go left better than Caitlin Clark? I would agree with you. But you can't say she can't go left because a lot of her three-pointers and step-backs is going left. It's on the left side of the floor. So how is it that she can't go left? Is you saying that I don't understand? I don't get that. Like that's not true. That's not factual. She's not.
I have nothing to say about that because that's not really my argument against Caitlin Clark.
As good going left as some of the other players in the WNBA. I would admit that. But can't go left is straight bullshit, bro. So we're going to go ahead and kick that narrative to the curb, too. Because that don't even make no sense. Straight bullshit. Caitlin Clark has no mid-range game. This is another thing I hear all the time, bro. And they always compare her to Paige Becker, man. Now, I'm going to be real here. I told you, this is all going to be facts. I'm going to keep my opinion out of it. Paige Beckers has a better mid-range game than Caitlin Clark. I would admit that. But you guys tell me Caitlin Clark has no mid-range game when I'm seeing her hit a few middies every single game. Caitlin Clark said herself she's more comfortable shooting deep than mid-range. But do that mean she has no mid-range game? So what you trying to tell me is she made no shots from the mid-range? That's another thing. Straight bullshit, bro. Because I seen her do some mid-range game in the last couple games, bro. Come on, man. Is we being serious right here, man? Or is this hate? Or is this like a narrative y'all trying to push to lift somebody up?
How dare you do that? How dare you do that? We listen to Caitlin Clark fans all the time. Angel Reese can't make layups. She just can't make layups. This is what y'all say. And then you got the nerve to sit up there and act like we just talking crazy when we say Caitlin has no mid-range. Like what are we working with here, man? Y'all that hypocritical and that, like, what's going on? You're familiar with using hyperbole when we speak. Meaning, when I say she doesn't have a mid-range, that means, well, last year she had none whatsoever. This year she obviously worked on it a little bit, but I will consider it part of your game when you do it consistently. When it's consistent, then it's part of your game. Hell, Angel Reese made a three-pointer last game. Angel Reese made a couple three-pointers this year. Are y'all going to say Angel Reese is a three-point shooter? You get what I'm saying? Just because you make something here and there every once in a while, a few here and there, that doesn't mean it's part of your game, sir.
Somebody else up. Stop the hate, bro. Stop the cap and stop trying to push all these narratives, bro. Caitlin Clark got a midi. There's other people in the league that got a better midi than her. I would admit to that. But Caitlin Clark having no midi, just straight bullshit, bro. Stop the cap.
All right, then. The Angel Reese not having a three-pointer is cap. And we're going to both say that then.
CC is only popular because she's white. Seriously. All these white women in the league that came in the league before her, but she's only popular because she's white. That don't even make no sense. All these Kelseys and Sabrinas and Briannas and all this stuff, bro. Seriously? No, the problem is this, bro. And I don't even consider...
All right. This is how I feel about this, honestly. Caitlin Clark, some of her fans, some of her fans live vicariously through her. And because of the experience at Iowa and the fire that Iowa caught. And Iowa caught fire not because she's a white player, but she has a Rocky Balboa-ish type of story. If you're familiar with Rocky, I'm sure most of you are. Rocky was a famous character played by Sylvester Stallone, a South Philadelphian guy, right? Who was a mid type of fighter or whatever, but he had this great opportunity to fight a black fighter. Okay, and he was just famous throughout the movies really for beating up black fighters, and you know, Italians loved it and so on and so forth because they could kind of relate to him, whatever, okay? He's always the underdog, not the best. And I believe that Iowa team had the Rocky Balboa story to him. Not so much Caitlin Clark, she's the leader of it, but it is that Iowa team, as you said, you know, look how far they take them. They're beating these top schools, and they're supposedly not all of that. They have a Rocky Balboa type of story with them, okay? They ended up coming up short, but, you know, they overachieved in the eyes of many, okay? So this is why Kate Martin is still revered. This is why Caitlin Clark is revered. Now, there is an element to her fan base that are happy because in their mind, she is a white player who regularly, in their mind, beats black players. This is why you had all these narratives last year about these black players being jealous of her. Okay, and let's not act stupid right now. Between the Lines is one of the channels. Black and White Sports is one of the channels. There's other channels. There's this other channel with this white and this black guy. Many of them were saying these things that, oh, they're angry. I've had people come into my chat and say to me that I'm just mad that a white player is the best women's basketball player in the world. Matter of fact, you know what someone said to me? They said, you're mad because a white NBA player and a white WNBA player are the two best players in the world. He was referring to Jokic and referring to Caitlin Clark. Okay? So, for these people, yes. If she was black, her popularity wouldn't be the same. For those people. I'm not saying that's everybody. I'm not even going to say that's the majority. Though I wouldn't be surprised if it was. But I'm not going to say that's the majority. But for those people, yeah. Her being white has a lot to do with it. There's no doubt about it.
The problem. Some people have that it factor, bro. That's what it is, man. That's why Caitlin Clark get the popularity in the pub that she get, bro. She has an it factor. This girl came into the league shooting from Egypt, bro, and it was entertaining to.
It factor, I don't know what that is, but he said, because I don't see that, but he said she's shooting from Egypt. Remember I told y'all to hold that thought? Going way back, that Caitlin Clark is only a logo 3. He's about to prove that that's what he believes. Because now, when he explains the it factor, listen to his description of it.
Watch, man. That's why she get the recognition she get. Because she doing something that we never seen before. We seen women shoot jumpers before. But most women don't even shoot jumper. They shoot set shots. Caitlin Clark shoots a jumper. And she can shoot it from deep. From deep, bruh. Deep, man. We haven't seen that since Steph Curry. But now we see a woman coming into the league doing things that we've never seen before. It has nothing to do with her being white. Does her being white maybe hype it up a little bit? Maybe so. I might even agree to that. But is that the sole reason that people like her the way they do? No, it's because she's been doing this shit since high school. High school, college, pros. Shooting the ball from Egypt, bruh. And her jumper is wet. You know what I'm saying? Now, the last couple games, yeah, she had all shooting nights. Ain't been shooting the ball well at all.
My brother, do you realize what you just done? You just proved the whole thing. You just contradicted your first point, which is why is Caitlin Clark this popular? And in your own words, you explained it's because she shoots the ball from deep. And this is why many of us say that she ain't nothing but a logo 3. Because you take that away, y'all wouldn't find her to be special.
At least from 3, I think one game she was 0 for 7, and the next game I think she was 1 or 2 from 10. That's a bad shooting night. She's in a shooter slump. We've all seen great players go through those shooter slumps before. But did that mean you're supposed to keep shooting? Hell no, bro. Because I've seen games with Kobe Bryant, and I'm not comparing her to Kobe Bryant. I'm just saying, I've seen games with Kobe Bryant, Steph Curry, even Michael Jordan even, you know what I'm saying? Some of these other greats, man, we have awful shooting nights, but then hit the game-winning shot. So was they supposed to stop shooting? No, man, you keep shooting. You kind of need to work on your shot selection and just not shoot your team out the game, man, and do other things to contribute to your team's success. You know what I'm saying?
Which is all people like me really say, but, you know, it's hate when we say it, but he said it's fine.
Other than that, bro, let's stop the cap, man. Let's stop the cap. Let's stop it. She is not popular just because she white, bro. The girl is popular because she's doing things we've never seen before, and we know that to be true because she's not the first white girl in the WNBA at all, bro. So stop the cap, man. Y'all is full of shit, man. Full of shit.
And I think you're full of shit because what you did is you proved that the thing that makes her special, her it factor, is that she shoots logo 3s.
Caitlin Clark don't make her teammates better. Bruh, Kelsey Mitchell had the best season of her career with Caitlin Clark. So how is it that Caitlin Clark don't make her teammates better? Look at what Boston doing. A lot of Boston points come off assists from Caitlin Clark. Is you guys serious right now? That's why I don't think that you guys really like Caitlin Clark. I think you guys just try to push some narrative because everything that I've just named right now is all factual, bruh. And a lot of things you can look it up, you can Google it. It can't even be debated. It can't even be debated, bruh. Caitlin Clark don't make her teammates better? Come on, man. Come on, man. Those same teammates was on the Indiana Fever before she got there. You bring Caitlin Clark and put her on the same team with the other players that was not getting to the playoffs, they go right to the playoffs.
I already debunked that. That's ridiculous. That's the only way you can actually measure that is to take Boston off of the team and see if Kelsey and Caitlin will make it to the playoffs, which I doubt. Or the only other way is you could take Kelsey Mitchell away from the team and see if they made the playoffs, which I doubt they would, especially last year's team. Now, this year's team has a little bit more talent, right? But the other thing is, does she make her players better? See, I don't know. Those things are hard for me because I disagree with a lot of people in general when it comes to basketball, because I don't really agree with this whole notion that if I assist you to get a layup that I make you better. I don't believe that makes a player better. I believe the player has to already know how to catch and assist and make a layup. If anything, they make each other better. Like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was already Kareem Abdul-Jabbar before Magic Johnson came. I don't feel Magic Johnson made Kareem Abdul-Jabbar better because he was assisting him passes, right? If anything, they make each other better. By you, if I'm the point guard, you're making me better by helping my assist numbers, and I'm making you better by helping you score. So it's a hand wash the other thing, if anything. Right, but just the idea that she just came and made Leah Boston some all-star when Leah Boston was already an all-star is ridiculous. Or that she made Kelsey Mitchell better because Kelsey Mitchell scored more points than she did the year before is also ridiculous. So that's pretty much all I got on that. He didn't really say much after that, bro. But if you do want to debate these things, I'm telling you, you better be more prepared, man. So, till next time, peace out.